WhiskyJason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American over here in Germany, often reviewing rare and exotic whiskeys. Today I finally have something from Canada again. Bearface. Canadian whiskey. Very, very good. Wilderness Series 01. Matsutake elementally aged limited release with 42.5% ABV. Now there is number 2 and number 3 of the Wilderness series, and I will not go into detail there. This does actually have a Whiskybase number. It's 210407. Cost about 50 Canadian dollars. I bought it for 45 US dollars. Cost me another 50 euros to get it over here to Germany back then. That was postage and handling, 23 euros. Excise tax to get in the country, 25 euros. Crazy. All right. So this was matured in red wine barrels from French oak. Jerez sherry, butts, very, very good. And Matsutake. Now, everyone out there, including me, is like, what in the world is Matsutake? Now, it sounds almost like the guy who created Japanese whiskey, but no. Matsutake is a species of choice edible myconsisal, wow, I got that one wrong, mushrooms that grow in Eurasia and North America. It is prized in the Japanese culture for its distinct aroma. All right, so the common name and specific epithet, Matsutake, has been in use since the late 19th centuries and derives from the Japanese word matsu, which means pine tree, and take, which means mushroom. Who would have known? And the cap, the stem, and gills are initially white, then discolored brownish. Similarly, dark fibrils appear on the cap and the stalk. The caps can reach up to 35 centimeters, which is 14 inches across, while the stem is up to 15 centimeters, 6 inches long, and 5 centimeters thick, which is about 2 inches. A ring is usually present, and the flesh is white and firm with a cinnamon-like aroma. All right, very, very, very good. So all these things I did not know. All right, so, and it's actually they're found in Oregon a lot, as well as in certain areas of Canada. So, the world's first Matsutake whiskey, introducing the Bearface Wilderness Series Matsutake release. So, elementally aged, which elementally means they take old shipping containers, put them out in the forest in Canada, and they put barrels in there, and then, ta-da, it's in the wilderness, and it just ages. So, elementary age for a bolder, smoother flavor and infused with wild Matsutake. Remember, we're in Canada. You can put up to 9%, 9.1.9%, whatever that is, extra stuff. You can just add port in there and still call it whiskey, which is not allowed in any other countries. But hey, Canada's special, aren't they? And this has a unique umami flavor finish. All right, so the Bearface Wilderness Series edition is a one-of-a-kind whiskey blend. So Matsutake, or also pine mushroom, is a unique wild ingredient, rare around the world, but abundant here in Bear County. So, Bear County. All right, very, very good. I'm reading from the website. To create this experiment, we mature our whiskey in hand-selected wine cask and sherry pipes inside repurposed shipping containers in the Canadian wilderness. We call this elemental aging, and it gives our whiskey a bolder, smoother flavor. Good. So, it's the unspoilt Canadian wilderness and the freedom that Canada offers us as whiskey makers that has inspired us to create the Wilderness series. At Bearface, we believe no idea is too wild and no ingredient is too adventurous. If you want to discover more, blah, 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 click here. And this unique liquid from the wine, sherry, and Matsutake cask is then blended by Andreas Faustunelli, our master blender. The Matsutake adds a unique accent of wilderness flavor in this Azage Blanc. The final result is complex, layered whiskey with nutmeg, cinnamon, and rounded nuttiness, followed by a leafy earthiness and a umami finish. Good, that's basically all the information I have here. I do have a little video here on the website where they have the mushrooms and they pour it looks like new make. It looks like grain neutral spirits on them and they add that there. But then there's a beaker with, it's not clear. It's actually whiskey. So I guess they have whiskey that is infused with these pine mushrooms. The whole time I had this bottle of Signal Hill. Dan Aykroyd was one of the co-owners of this brand. By the way, in Newfoundland on Signal Hill, there is no distillery. So this is a mix of rye whiskey with malt whiskey from Canada. So the distillery that distilled this whiskey is not the distillery that actually warehoused this whiskey, and that is not the distillery that is, or not the company that actually bottles this whiskey. Welcome to Sourced Whiskeys, and you can put different things here together. All right, Canadian whiskey. It's non-chilled filtered. It's 40%. This is about $25. This is about about $50, about double the price. Is it twice as good? I don't know. I just wanted to have 2 Canadian whiskeys and I didn't want to have Lot 40 here. I love Lot 40 and I did not want to drag it down with this. I'm using that word very liberally, dragging down. Now the nose, this is weirdly interesting good. I did not expect that. I get a little bit of a cinnamon moment. I get a little bit of a leather moment. I'm actually in the middle here of a forest in the fall. Leaves have fallen. It's a little bit of the moldy process of compost started happening already. It's football season. It's 8 degrees Celsius outside, which is about 48 degrees Fahrenheit. It's a wonderful day. It's fall and it's just nice. I was not expecting that. This is better than expected. This is a lot of grain components. This is light. This is a little bit. There's honey. There's a lot of this forest honey is here as well. There's just a sweetness, but there's also an oakiness here, a little bit of European oak. This is complexer, more complex than expected. Cheers. Now on the palate, it's better than I thought. Very earthy, I agree. Little bit of a raisiny type of moment. There's the red wine with the tannins. There's vanilla. There might be a little bit of fennel actually in there. Orange peel. A little bit of sherry. Complex. Layered. Better than expected. I've said that I think 4 times already. I was going to go, oh no, I don't like mushrooms, and now I have a whiskey with mushrooms. Why would you do that to me? Why did I buy it, Jason? Research better before you put your money down for this. But this is actually very, 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 very nice. It's going to be a C+ whiskey for me. Value for money for $50, 50 Canadian dollars, 45 American dollars. That is actually a price that I can say yes to. I'm going to give it a C. Now, the price that I had to pay to get it over to Germany, which was another 40-some euros on top, that was way too much. But the distillery can't help itself for me being over here in Germany, me paying FedEx Express overnight, whatever that was here, international, the excise taxes on this to get it in the country, the VAT, the alcohol tax, and so on. It was 23 euros for the sending of this. I brought over 8 or 10 bottles at the same time. And it was 25 basically euros for the importing of this due to excise tax and alcohol tax and VAT and all that. So, yeah, good whiskey. I'm not sure about the other whiskeys from this unique moment here that's going on. There's the Mitternacht release number 2, experimentally aged Bearface whiskey, proofed with distilled water collected from artisanal salt makers on Canada's wild Pacific coast. Sounds interesting. And there's the Wild Air release number 3, and it is ventures deeper into the Canadian wild lush lands, inspired by the crisp, invigorating air of high-altitude landscapes. Wild Air is crafted to invoke the sensations of taking a deep breath atop a rugged peak surrounded by untouched Canadian wilderness. So we have the forest, we have the top of the mountain basically, and we have this saltiness on the wild Pacific coast of Canada. If Bearface can really give me these impressions as well as it gave it to me with this, I am impressed. All right, so I know that feeling of being on the top of a rugged peak. Well, I don't know if I was on a peak or not, but on the top of a nice mountain in the Alps, it's just good air. And also being on the coast of not on the rugged Pacific, but on the North Sea coast, I'm there a lot because I just live a couple miles away here from the North Sea in northern Germany, and I can. That good, salty, fresh air. Yes. And if you can get that in the bottle, why not? And then the question is, what will be release number 4 from Bearface? Bearface, you're doing some pretty good stuff. Keep up the good work. I was skeptical, but now I'm a believer. Do I want to drink this every night? No. But do I want to have the feeling of fall football season, this comfort food, wood, earth, log cabin? That's it. This is it. They did it. Now, just a tiny little bit of the Signal Hill. It's a Canadian whiskey. There used to be something, there probably still is, J.W. Weiser, 10-year-old triple cask. Much, much better. Costs about the same thing, under 30 euros, $30. Go for that instead of this. Beautiful bottle, okay present. This is something I would mix with. This is something I would drink, but this is not something I would enjoy neat as it is. That's that. All right. Question number 1, what is the most unique finish of a whiskey you've ever had? Now, this Matsutake mushroom finished whiskey is definitely a top 5, if not in the top 3 and not at the top 1. That is so unique and out of this world. I've never ever had anything like that before. And the second thing, what is your favorite Canadian whiskey? For me, it's still Lot 40. I love it. I enjoy it. I thoroughly like it. There's a couple other things out there that I really like from Canada as well, but let's just stay with my nice little Lot 40 there. Dr. Don Livermore, thank you very much for making that product and having us all over the world be grateful for you and for using those 100% unmalted rye and virgin oak casks to create something beautiful. WhiskyJason, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American over here in Germany, often reviewing rare and exotic whiskeys. 2 fairly unique whiskeys. Very, very nice. Why not? Thank you, Dan Aykroyd, for giving the money for this. I hope you got your money back and a little bit more on top. See you real soon. WhiskyJason. Bye-bye.